and get ready to relax to some extremely, extremely lo-fi ASMR today. That background noise you're hearing is from the cable itself. There's no fans on in the background or anything. That's just kind of the quality of the cable. You can hear it, and you might notice I'm at a kind of 45-degree angle today as opposed to my normal videos, and that's because the cable is so short. It barely reaches from my PC over here, which is a little bit of a cable nightmare, so usually I don't show it at all on camera, but for today I thought we'd do a little bit of a tiny behind-the-scenes view. This also has no way to fasten it to anything, so I've just rubber banded it to a selfie stick. Anyway, all that being said, let's try to make some good sounds with a very, very budget $1 microphone. We'll start with some classics. We'll start with some coaster tapping. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. It's like a shotgun where it picks up sound directly in like a cone in front of it, and doesn't really pick up. You see, if I just start talking and kind of like start going away from the mic, it barely picks up anything from the sides. It barely picks up anything from the sides, but it's also very sensitive, so if any air hits the microphone directly, you'll hear the kind of sound. So I've got to be very delicate. I've got to be very delicate. And I've got to be careful that I don't accidentally hit the cable and unplug this thing. Oh, scratching with the coaster sounds pretty good. A little bit of scratch tapping, a little bit of scratch. Scratch. Surprisingly, it picks up that scratching very, very well. it seems that it really, really picks up tapping quite well. And like, sounds like the Fidget Slug, it also picked up pretty well. What about if we use a wooden frog here? That's not half bad. That's actually pretty good. Just move my mic so my monitors don't go to sleep on me. The mouse, I mean, not the mic. Actually gets picked up from the sides pretty decently. I think because it's a very kind of like punchy sound. It's got a very strong attack to it. I wonder how kind of soft-spoken it sounds through this thing. Not as bad as I would have thought. It actually sounds okay. Of course, there's a very high amount of cable static, but it doesn't seem to completely like change my voice and make it very like thin or only, well, I was wondering if it would take like all the bass out of my voice. It's definitely doing that a little bit. Definitely doesn't have the best bass pickup. That's a little bit to be expected though. But so yeah, there's some frog sounds. It's actually decent. Alright. Let's do some crinkles. I have a feeling that crinkles might sound pretty decent with this thing too. Since they're also kind of like punchy is a strange way. Punchy is a strange way to describe crinkles, but they're very like mid-rangey, high range of frequencies. And I feel like this thing, if you looked at it in like an EQ, would probably look like a bell curve, kind of cutting off the very, very lows and the very, very high frequency This thing is actually pretty decent at picking up tapping sounds. Crinkles are, I guess, maybe punchy wasn't the right word, but like crisp. Crinkles are very crisp. Crisp. Crispy. Crispy sounds. Oh, that sounds really good. We'll do some gripping where we'll grip and then release. That's not too bad. That might be a little bit harsh, but that was a little bit harsh, my bad. I think we peaked there. I think we peaked a little bit. Relax, buddy. Sleep. I hope those mouse sounds aren't terribly harsh in the recording. I'm monitoring the sound so I can kind of get decent control over it. But this thing is so oddly sensitive and not sensitive at the same time. It's like sensitive in a very tiny, 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 tiny area right over the front of it, right over the top of it. A very tiny, 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 tiny area right over the top of it. Alright. Let's do another trigger, shall we? Let's continue our experiment. I think maybe we'll brush it. That's okay. That's okay. Alright, let's just be very, very delicate here. I think if we go in a circle like that, that probably is the best brushing sound you can get with it. Whoops. Tap the mic there a little bit. I hope that wasn't. I didn't think that was a loud sound, but maybe it was. Fingers crossed. Myself to slow down a little bit with these triggers, because all the time I tend to kind of naturally feel like I want to rush or go fast with things, but if I just slow down, I feel like that's how we're gonna get the best and most tingly ASM. Or let me do it. Let me do some water sounds with a different thing. Little spritz. Bottle. Oh no, this says facial toner. It's got like rose water, so this actually bubbles up. Let me do it with a different thing. We'll try with. Oh, this is pretty good. This one's pretty good. it's similar to the brushing, but a bit different. Maybe a little too harsh for this microphone, unfortunately, so I think we'll probably cut it there. Let me know in the comments, though, if you think otherwise. We'll try some tuning fork. We'll try some tuning fork. Tuning fork. Tuning fork. Fork. Tuning fork. Tuning fork. Fork. That gets picked up pretty decently. Pretty good, I'd say. This microphone definitely has a bit of a proximity effect going on. The proximity effect is just when you get really close. When you get really close, it tends to emphasize the bass in a different way than it does when you are far from it. And I know that earlier I said it doesn't really have that much bass pickup, but you can really tell that's where it gets picked up the best, just right next to it, just right next to the mic here. Sorry, I hit the mic with the tuning fork there. I'd say the tuning fork actually is pretty decent. Although I imagine with just how it makes sounds just gently vibrating the air around it, there's probably very few mics that wouldn't pick it up decently. Just because it's kind of got like a full sound spectrum to it that it generates. It's not very harsh when its attack. It just is a very like consistent, very kind of consistent sound. It just kind of like vibrates like this without having any like loud onsets. And a loud onset is like a or like a tap, tip, tap, tap, tip, tap, 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 tap. So I'll just place the tuning fork over here. I think we definitely made some good sounds. With the tuning fork there, let's do one last trigger for this experiment here. This $1 microphone ASMR experiment. 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 Sorry. This thing is very sensitive. It's very, very sensitive. Let's see how well it picks up the little candle. Pretty good, pretty good, I'd say. Now, I gotta be careful. Don't burn the cable or anything. But I'd say definitely picks up the candle pretty decently. Alright, let's do a thumbnail shot. Let's do a thumbnail shot. Alright, what did I do? Maybe that. Maybe we'll do a... I'm sorry. Maybe this? Maybe one of those. Maybe one of those. Well, it picks up part of the fire sounds really well, like when the fire is first starting. However, right now it's not really picking up anything from the fire. Oh, that's a good one. Let's get the lid on that. And like one of those, it's like one of those Orbeez stress balls. It's got a lot of little water beads in it. Little water beads. Little. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining me in this little experiment here. To see if a $1 mic can give you tingles. I'm just seeing, maybe we'll use one of these for a thumbnail shot. Maybe not. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And if you'd like more relaxing ASMR content, all you gotta do is click this video right over here in the top left. Thank you. I appreciate you stopping by so much. I hope you got some tingles from this, some enjoyment. Maybe just you wanted to see what a $1 mic would even sound like. But either way, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed your stay.